I'm Robin Lundberg, joined now by the great Shaquille O'Neal, who's here with us on behalf of Pepsi. And Shaq, you know, I know you're going on the Make Things Smaller campaign here, referencing the old song back in the day, but it reminded me of your rapping days. How big do you think the gap is between you and other athlete rappers all time?
Well, the gap is I'm on a planet that hasn't been discovered yet, and they're just now getting equipment to go there. But 30 years ago we did the Pepsi Big Slam, and that commercial was talking about how hard it was to be as big as the Big Diesel. Now, 30 years later, we get to revisit that original concept and flip the idea on its head. So when Pepsi brought the idea to me, they brought the song "I Wish" by Skilo. I wish I was a little bit smaller. They wanted me to do the rap, but Skilo is a personal friend of mine. I've been knowing him since the 90s. He's a icon of 90s hip hop. I called him and said, hey, we want you to redo those words, and then I'll probably do something at the end. But it's kind of take on me not wanting to be big and wanting to be smaller now, representing the Pepsi mini cans. And, this is part of Pepsi's brand, the 125th anniversary.
Have you ever had any real life experiences where you're like, I'm too big? Because we don't think of that on the basketball court.
Yeah, I never wanted to be small like you, buddy, but the only times I want to be small is when I look at these sexy sports cars that these guys be driving around in, and I know it can't fit. I was able to get a Porsche one time, but I was in there tight. I was able to chop a Ferrari up and take the convertible top and make it a forever convertible Ferrari, but I would like to just pull up to the dealership one time and be able to fit one, like a Tesla. Like I always wanted a Tesla, but I can't fit.
Are the Lakers too reliant on LeBron James at his age?
Well, I mean, when you're the superstar, they're always going to be reliant on you, but I think the other guys have to, use that opportunity and make a name for themselves, and also, help him get to the next level. Like everybody's always going to look at AD because, AD's always been a great player, but when he was in New Orleans in that one playoff run, he showed us what he can be. And of course, when you come to a place like LA, that's what they expect you, because they've seen guys that average 35, 40.
How about Wemby? You ready to backtrack on those Bowl comments at all?
No, I'm not, because if you listen to what I said you guys are acting like Wemby is the first 7'5" player that dribbled coast to coast, put it between his legs and shot a three. He is not. Bol is the first. I never compared the two. I just said you guys act like you've never seen it before, but you have. You've seen Bol do it. Bol is nowhere as near as good as Wemby because he doesn't play as hard as Wemby. But my point was, you see this guy and you go, oh my God, he's the first. He's not the first. Bol was the first to do that. That's all I'm saying. So I will never backtrack on what I say because I speak from facts, man.
You have you're good at giving people nicknames. Do you have a nickname for Wemby?
Not yet. I'm working on it. I mean, but listen, he's a hell of a player. He's a fabulous player. I enjoy to watch. The definition of a new age big man. Tall, plays defense great, spread the floor, shoot, and go inside. I have nothing bad to say about the kid.
How do you think that the new age big man like Wemby would do against the big men of your era, yourself, Hakeem, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, etc.?
No shot.
You're going to put him through the basket?
Of course, every time. I mean, but these conversations are great to have, but they'll never happen. So I actually like having these conversations sometimes because you get a lot of ideas, like a never-ending conversation. But I know what I would have done personally. But then he probably would say, "Well, I'll take Shaq on the outside and go around him." And you never know, but I know what I did to Sean Bradley type opponents that were tall and things like that.
How about another big man? It feels like there is a little bit of a big man renaissance, and Jokic is right there. How do you think you would have done head up against Jokic?
Well, I played against Jokic type players, and I have problems guarding guys like that can step outside, especially if you have to help on the pick and roll and you give a guy like Jokic space. Sabonis was like that, Vlade Divac was like that. A lot of guys that can pick and pop. But if I had to just guard him one-on-one with no help, I'll probably do okay. But if you take your eye off him and let him get some space, he's a very, very dangerous player. So I played against guys similar to that, European style. Just like Dirk. If I can keep a hand on Dirk, I'm not saying I can stop him, but I could at least, defend him. But if you got to show up the pick and roll and you give Dirk 1 or 2 steps, he's unguardable.
All right. As far as the current era of basketball, we're always doing those comparisons. What would you say about the state of the game right now?
I think it's at a healthy place. It's at a healthy place when you got guys making $60, $70 million. And the next contract's going to be even more. So it's at a great place. And just, we got a lot of big name stars now. So game is great. We got like 15, 20 super mega stars, and that's really, really good for the game.
The contracts have gotten bigger. The Pepsi cans are getting smaller, though. Shaq, a part of that campaign. Anything else you want the fans to know about that?
Yes, help us celebrate Pepsi's brand 125th anniversary. Make sure you get all Pepsi products, especially that Pepsi mini can.
Shaq, appreciate the time as always.
Thank you, brother.